Hi guys, welcome back to Hearn Family Homestead. My name is Amanda. Today I'm going to show you a little tour of our garden and show you what we're growing this year and give you a little tour around our yard and all of the things that we have planted. So I hope you'll grab a cup of coffee and come with me. Over here we've got our peach tree and our chickens. I do need to do some weed eating and we are reseeding our lawn. This bed, this is our Mediterranean bed. We mixed the soil with some sand last year and got it draining really well, but we have some oregano on the left. And then I've planted basil all throughout. These two bushy plants right here are lavender, and there's some sage. And then over in the corner we have our garlic. And in the front flower bed here, we have some echinacea in the back on the right there. And then we have some Shasta daisies, some hollyhocks, lots of mint and lemon balm, some holy basil, some flowers, Johnny jump ups, and I've interplanted herbs with the flowers. You can see there's some lovage at the bottom of the gladiola there. And I did this just to maximize the room that we have because we are on just a quarter acre in town. And I want to grow as many herbs as I can while still making it pretty. This is our green stock garden, looking a bit wild. We've got some tatsoi at the top, some lettuce and red auroch spinach, some more lettuce, and some Swiss chard down there at the bottom. To start with, I'll give you an overall view of the garden over the fence here. So here we have our 2 rows of onions. They extend about halfway down the garden. We have evergreen bunching onions and then leeks farther down on the left. And on the right we have our red onions. All along the back on this side we have peas planted. And then this first part we have our tomatoes. You can see one right there. And coming after the peas we have purple potted pole beans that will climb that trellis, and we will remove the peas eventually when they're done. We have a couple hills of zucchini. And then we have our peppers. We've got some shishito peppers, some banana peppers, chili peppers. We're going to try and make our own fermented hot sauce again this year. We really enjoyed that. And on the end on this side we've got our red cabbages. I've been cutting the leaves back to encourage them to form heads, but I think they just need more time. Here we have our Three Sisters garden, which looks nothing like a Three Sisters garden right here because we did plant some spinach just to get an early crop off of it. The spinach is starting to bolt, so that'll come out today. And then we've got our corn and our squash all interplanted. That squash will be thinned out. And then in the front, this flowering plant here is radishes that we're letting go to seed. Over here in the corner we've got our gooseberry plant. And then on the left we have a little sunflower of my daughter's and some kale that's left over that the ants didn't destroy. And then next to that we have our comfrey plant, and this is about a week of growth after I cut it off at the ground. You can see it's already about 8 to 10 inches tall. So it grows back very quickly after you cut it and use it. And we use that for fertilizer and things like that. This is the other side of the garden, and all down this side we have snow peas, and then we've got our tomatoes interplanted. So as soon as the peas come out, the tomatoes will shoot up. And I'm just kind of moving the peas back as I need to train the tomatoes onto the trellis. This is sort of a wild corner of the garden that I just let do whatever it wanted to do. I've got some volunteer dill, some volunteer sunflowers, some chamomile back there that came up on its own. And then I planted some zinnias And then I also tucked cucumbers into this side to grow in amongst the bottom of the dill. Here we have some bush beans, and these are jade bush beans, and then some volunteer lettuce. The peas are falling over a bit, but we've got our eggplant planted here. And all of this is called pineapple weed. And the reason I did not weed it out is because it is a cousin of chamomile. And chamomile does not seem to want to grow real well for me. I did have one volunteer come back from last year. But usually chamomile will reseed itself and grow really well. So I let the pineapple weed go. And I'm going to try it in tea, and if I like it, I'll go ahead and make tea out of that instead of the chamomile. There's 2 more cabbages that I tucked in next to the cauliflower. This one's starting to form a head down in there. I did have quite a bit more cauliflower and broccoli planted, but it succumbed to the ants as well. There's one little broccoli left that I'll probably harvest what shoots I can. And then I've planted eggplant behind there. And we've got some kale that I just seeded the other day. And then down here we have turnips on the right, beets in the middle, and carrots in the back. We also have an onion that is a holdover from last year that we're letting go to seed so we can save the seed from that. And over here in the corner we've tucked this wooden box and planted potatoes in that. And then some onions in the back. Beside the greenhouse here we've planted currant bushes. Back here in the backyard we have our strawberry bed. It's doing amazing. This is the 2nd year. And then we lost a few strawberries, so I early planted some beets and some lovage back here just because I had extra. And over here by the chicken house we have our row of Jerusalem artichokes along the fence. And then we also have our apricot tree. It did have a few blooms on it this year, but we're going to let that go another year before we expect to get fruit off of it. This is its 3rd year here. Also here in the backyard we have our row of raspberries that are finally starting to get established this year. It looks like we're going to have quite a few raspberries off of those. And then lastly back here we have our row of sweet potatoes planted also in mineral tubs. And I've been putting these milk jug cloches over them when the nights are too cold, because sweet potatoes really are a warm loving plant, and I will move them back under the drip line when we stop getting so much rain and cold. I don't want their roots to get too wet. Thanks for joining me today, guys. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel if you'd like to see more like it, and consider sharing it to your social media. We'll catch you next time.